Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Pillar Sports. I'm your host, Manny, and we are going to be focusing right now on the prediction of the 2026-2027 season. This season is going to be a tough one. We have a lot of things going on in this season, from new managers to new players to outgoing managers, and to just the incredible nature of Premier League and how the things would absolutely play out. So today we are going to be talking about our predictions from 1 to 20, or we'll basically go from 20 to 1 in order for us to give you guys our 3 that are going to be relegated and the top 6 we are going to give you guys in that arrangement. So without further ado, let's get this party started. Let's get beginning and let's get cracking. First things first, number 20 for me will be Hull City. Of course, when we look at Hull City, they came up via the playoffs under Sergej Jakirovic. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I'm sorry if I butchered it, but he is someone that has done really good with this particular team so far, who has never managed in a major European league on paper. And this is definitely going to be the steepest jump for his situation, because he jumped off the 3 promoted side, and in my mind particularly, I think Hull City just do not have the right team to absolutely go forward and stay in the Premier League. I think Oli McBurney as their striker would not do it in the Premier League. I do not think so. So Hull City definitely goes down for me. Number 19 is going to be This is going to be a crazy one for me personally, because when I look at everything, I say, okay, this is going to be a tough one, because I believe it's going to be Ipswich Town. Promoted under automatic roles for Kieran McKenna. However, Kieran McKenna left straight after going up, and Gary O'Neill comes in. And his specific track record, based on the way he has gone in Bournemouth and also Wolves, he kept them up. I just believe that he would not be able to do it with Ipswich Town. Now, in my mind, I would think that he would be the right person, because it was the decision between either Ipswich Town at 19th or Coventry, because I know one of them will stay up. However, I believe the storyline of Frank Lampard just having these people coming from where they were to now in the Premier League would just be a better storyline, and have them moving in the right momentum to get to stay in the Premier League. So I think Ipswich is going down at 19th. And now this is going to be the crazy part. At 18th, to me personally, I believe is going to be Fulham. They lost Marco Silva, who had given them a genuine, reliable Premier League floor, for a much higher variant appointment in Alvaro Arbeloa. Now, the truth about Alvaro Arbeloa, we saw him at Real Madrid, and he does know how to coach. However, the team that he had at Real Madrid was a team filled with superstars. This team, he would have to get the best out of the little that he has, and I do not believe that he's able to do that. So I believe Fulham will be the 18th and will be going down in that situation, because they lost the likes of Harry Wilson, Raul Jimenez, who supplied a big chunk of the goals last season. I truly believe that they will be going down this season. Now, we go in 17th place. 17th place will be newly promoted as champions under Frank Lampard, which says a lot for the most part in their championship form. I truly believe that in this situation, like I said, the momentum is in their court. They are rolling forward, and I think it's more of a hope than me saying, for the most part, based on the analysis that I've done, that Coventry will stay up in the Premier League. I just want Frank Lampard to see the fruits of his labor so far, and that will mean staying up in the Premier League. And I believe in 17th place, it will be Coventry City. Now we go to 16th place. I am going for Leeds United. 14th in their first season back up under Daniel Farke, staying up. So solid but unspectacular. They will be safe. I think they are not going to be repeating what they did last season by ending 14th in that last season. I think it's going to be a situation where they stay up at 16th. However, Daniel Falca would find it very hard to repeat what he did last season because every single person now understands the way Leeds want to play, the pace, the transition. And I don't think that Dominic Calvert-Lewin will be able to stay fit the entire season this season. And that, in my opinion, will be the reason why they will drop 2 spots. 15th for me will be Crystal Palace. They won the Conference League and then they lost the manager who delivered it for them in Glasgow, who left for Forest. And now they brought in PSG, Sarge or Sage, whatever you pronounce it. He has a good CV, don't get me wrong, from Lens, but no Premier League experience. And I think that right there is where Crystal Palace are going to suffer a little bit more. They are going to suffer because, yes, they are in the Europa League right now and they have every single thing to play for, but we saw that they struggled under Oliver Glasner, having to play in Europe and also having to play in the Premier League. So I believe Sergei, being that this is his first Premier League job and his first Premier League experience, will struggle a little bit. And that takes us to number 14. And number 14 for me is going to be Everton. David Moore is steady as ever. 13th place last season with the useful Premier League proven additions in Tyreek George and Christian Norgard from Arsenal, who won the league last year. I think it's going to be a situation as steady as ever. I don't think they have done a good job in getting a striker that would give them multiple goals last season. They have, what's his name? Beto, and they have, what they call that kid? I've forgotten his name, but those are strikers that are not in double figures, never got to double figures. I don't think they would be able to even give them what they got last season. So I think Everton would still have to go in. I'm hearing a lot of news about Everton going in for the Chelsea striker in Liam Delap. I think that would be a brilliant thing because we saw Liam Delap with Ipswich Town give them 12 goals. I think he has the ability to play in a team that needs a striker like this, in a team that would fight for him, in a team that would allow him to play multiple games a season, and then absolutely play very well. Even if it's a loan, Everton needs to get Liam Delap or get somebody that would play that number 9 position for them, because I do not think Beto can do it anymore. I don't think Beto can really do it. I'll give you double figures, and that's why I'm putting Everton at 14. Then we go to 13, and this might be a surprise to a lot of people, but for me, it's going to be Bournemouth. They lost Adoni Iraola, and I believe Adoni Iraola is arguably the best manager in the club's history, based on what he has been able to do, based on the type of player that they have, based on the recruitment of finding the type of player that Adoni Iraola wanted, being there for 3-4 years, getting them to play the style of football that he wants them to play. I believe getting Marco Reus is a smart appointment. However, it's a step down from the continuity that we saw with Adoni Iraola. Now, next season, we could see Bournemouth go up a notch a little bit, but for right now, what I'm seeing, I do not believe Bournemouth will be in that top 10 situation that they ended up being or finding themselves in last season. So right now, I have them at 13th in the league. 12th in the league is a surprise for a lot of people, and that is Sunderland. Sunderland was 7th place. In their first European campaign in 53 years was one of the stories of last season. Under Regis Lebris, he deserves a lot of credit because he brought them from the championship, and in their first season in the Premier League, he took them to 7th place. They still have majority of their players. None of them have actually left in that sense, and they're still bringing in a lot of players that fits the Lebris system. And I think the continuity is going to be really good for Lebris. He was able to keep Xhaka in this team, and I think that right there is something that would give them the notch to go further. And I believe in what I see in this team, they are going to be a statement piece in the Premier League under Lebris. Now, if Lebris leaves, because he is a really good manager based on what we have seen, that would be a difficult thing for Sunderland. But for right now and what we are seeing, I understand from 7th to 12th place feels like a regression, but I think it's basically coming down to the average of what we see La Brise and Sunderland playing. And I know Newcastle fans will be excited to hear that they are going to be on top Sunderland this year, but in my mind, Sunderland are just going to be a little bit struggling because they haven't added in their attacking lineup, in my opinion. Because yes, Brian Brobby is a good player and he's such a wrecking ball when he's on the pitch. I just don't think he's going to be able to do exactly what he did last season this season anymore. And 11th for me is going to be Nottingham Forest, losing Elliot Anderson to City for around £116 million hurts, but bringing in Oliver Glasner, walking in from getting the FA Cup and the conference winner place with Palace in back-to-back seasons is such a steal for Nottingham Forest. It's such a serious upgrade for Evangelis Maranakis that I have to be impressed that they were able to get him in this particular situation. Now, where they finished last season was not where they wanted to finish. However, getting Oliver Glasner has just putting them in the perfect position for them to actually get back to where they were under Nuno Espirito Santo. And I think Oliver Glasner, having them play football and all the people that they are bringing into Nottingham Forest will show that they have all that it takes to get back into the middle of the pack of the Premier League. And number 10 for me is going to be Brentford. 9th last season, their best ever finish under Keith Andrews, with a promoted from within after losing their manager to Tottenham Hotspur. I think Keith Andrews has figured out something that a lot of people are not talking about. He understands this team. He has been with this team. The continuity of promoting from within was a brilliant idea, and he worked out last season. Now, I believe that it's going to be a situation where they need to bring in a little bit more players. They have brought in, I think it's Sangari, if I'm not mistaken, and I rate Sangari so highly. So I believe that Sangari, bringing him into this team, would just give them a little bit more notch to be in that top 10 position, but not in the 9th position, because in the 9th position, I'm going for Brighton Hove Albion. There were 8 for the second season in the running under Fabian Haseler. Now, with the Conference League football, I believe it's going to be boringly reliable in the best way possible. But I think it is going to be a step down just because they have Conference League this time. They have European football and they are going to be playing in multiple weeks. You see, sometimes they will play on Thursday and sometimes they will play on Saturday. Those things can be really difficult to navigate, especially because you lost your number one defender in Van Hecke, and you did bring in a really good player to replace him. However, in my mind, it will take them a little bit of time for them to be enthralled with the way Brighton wants to play and Fabian Haseler wants to play. And I think that is the reason why, in my opinion, Brighton Hove Albion will be 9th place this season. And now going to 8th place. Now this is going to be a shock for a lot of people, but I truly believe in the manager that they brought, and that is his Newcastle. The most fascinating team to call right here, because Captain Bruno Guimarães to Arsenal is done. Sandro Tonali to Tottenham Hotspur is done. Anthony Gordon to Barcelona is gone. Kieran Trippier on a free is gone, and the most of their spine outside the front line handed over to Matthias Jaissle, who has never managed in any major European league. The reinvestment looks smart. I have to give them that. It looks smart, but I expect a step back into the table, even if the individual quality holds up. You understand? That is, I really believe that Newcastle has what it takes based on the way that they want to play under Jaissle. I watched Jaissle when he was, is he in Benfica? Not Benfica, but Salzburg, if I'm not mistaken. I watched him when he went to Saudi and how he was able to get them playing football and playing football in the right manner. If he is able, which I feel he's going to be able to do, Newcastle will be 8th place in this season, because I think they just have enough of a team to have them getting 8th place. Now, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. You guys, of course, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, because we are getting into the top 6, top 7 position right now. So make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that follow button, and hit that subscribe, so you do not miss out on anything that we do here on Pillar Sports. And of course, comment down what you think your top 6 will be in this situation, because we are going to the 7th place right now, and that is Tottenham Hotspur. Now, this is going to be the biggest jump that we have seen since Manchester United, from 15th to 3rd place. They are going to be going from 17th all the way to 7th in my book, because they nearly went down on the final day. Then Roberto De Zerbi arrived and saved them. Now, with a full preseason and Sandro Tonali added for around £100 million, on top of the fact that they were able to rebuild their defense with the likes of Robinson going in, Van Hecke going in. They signed Mickey van der Ven still. They still have Pedro Porro. I understand that they lost Jed Spence and Cuti Romero, but this midfield and the coverage in the midfield, and also the defensive nous that they have, is truly it's amazing to me. It is truly remarkable to me. So I believe it's a situation where Tottenham Hotspur are going to be 7th place in this league, because I think Spurs are the best bet in the league right now in genuine having a huge leap up the table. I think they're the best bet, because the addition of Fernandes from West Ham, Tottenham Hotspur getting Sandro Tonali. They also have an addition, and they're trying to get Cody Gakpo. They're trying to get Savinho. They were able to keep Lucas Bergvall. They're able to keep Mickey van der Ven. I think they are moving in such a good momentum right now, especially with the brilliance of Roberto De Zerbi. We know what he did with Brighton Hove Albion. Now he's doing it with Tottenham Hotspur, with the money they have, with the ability to attract people to the best stadiums, to the best training ground. I think this team is one to watch out for. Number 6 place is going to be a shocker for many, but I think it is going to Liverpool. This is the toughest call for me right now in the top half. Champions in 2024-25 season, then trophyless 5th place in 2025-2026. Now there is a new era, and an era under Adoni Iraola, a player, a manager I think and I absolutely love, and I believe that he is truly a master in what he does. I just think that it's going to take Liverpool a little while for them to get to the way Iraola wants them to play. Think about him in Bournemouth. It took him 7 games for Bournemouth to start seeing the results that they saw when he first arrived at Bournemouth. Remember, at that time, they had sacked Gary O'Neill, that was doing really well and kept them in the Premier League. They had sacked Gary O'Neill and brought in Adoni Iraola, and everybody thought that that was a very stupid move because they did not know Iraola. But now we understand how shrewd of a move that was. And I think Iraola going to Liverpool, we will see Premier League titles in their future. I just don't think it is going to be right now, because Iraola will be going there and telling them to start running again. This is a team that under Arne Slot stopped running. Under Arne Slot did not do the Gengen pressing. Now under Iraola, we will start seeing them run again. However, I think it's going to take them a while for their physicality and the thing that Jurgen Klopp put in their battery pack to come back. And that's the reason why I believe they are going to be 6th. Of course, with Mohamed Salah gone after 8 years, Isak and Florian Wirtz cost about a combined of £241 million last summer, and they barely showed it. This season is about whether that investment finally pays off and whether the window has been really quiet, because they are still trying to get Barcola to replace Mohamed Salah. But in my opinion, when they get Barcola, it is still going to take them a time for them to adjust to the Premier League to see the best out of this Liverpool side. But you guys should be watching out for Tottenham and watch out for Liverpool, because they would be the ones that would have the most volatility when it comes to this Premier League season. 5th place is going to be Aston Villa for me. This is the most stable operation near the top of the league. Unai Emery stays, and Villa won a record 5th Europa League while reaching the Champions League for the 2nd time in 3 seasons. Losing Morgan Rodgers to Chelsea stings, I understand that, but continuity is worth more. It's worth a lot more than merely or nearly everyone else rebuilding. I think it's a very smart thing for them to understand that keeping Unai Emery is the biggest coup that they have been able to do this season, because Unai Emery is arguably the best manager in the Premier League right now as we speak. So in my opinion, I think this is a situation where they stay 5th and they absolutely go into the Champions League in that situation. Now we go into the top 4, because this is the top 4 that is going to be absolutely crazy in my opinion. And of course, my top 4 has now been adjusted based on what we watched against Arsenal and Manchester City in the not Carabao Cup, but the Community Shield today. And that starts with Chelsea at 4th place. They finished 10th last season in a chaotic 25-26 season that saw Enzo Maresca walk out mid-season. But Xavi Alonso now gets a full pre-season and has spent around 400 million euros. Close to that anyway. 400 million headlining by Morgan Rodgers, a club record fee from Villa. No European football for them this season. This means a total clean run at the table. This is a sleeper factor nobody is talking about enough, because we saw Manchester United go from 15th to 3rd place. Manchester United did not have European football. They did not even have Carabao Cup or FA Cup, because they got knocked out in the first round, and they used that opportunity to get 3rd place last season. Chelsea are going to do the same thing, because from 10th place without any European football, let's see if they do well in the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup, but they have a big enough squad for them to go all the way to 4th place. And I think Xavi Alonso is the guy, especially with the power that he has in his chair as the manager of Chelsea Football Club. Bear in mind, that is not just a name for show. He has every hand in whatever they are bringing in, whatever that is going to play, and how his team is going to run. He is going to be the man to make those decisions. And what we saw with him at Leverkusen, we are going to be seeing that with Chelsea. And he's someone that knows the Premier League a little bit as a player. Now, never as a coach, but as a player. Now we will see Chelsea in the best way forward. They have brought in Morgan Rodgers, brought in Leclerc, brought in those 2 fullbacks. I've forgotten their names. I think it's Sharania or something. I've forgotten their name, so bear with me. But I think Chelsea ends up 4th place. Now, this is where the thing is going to get crazy, because I wholeheartedly believe that Manchester City will be 3rd place. And this will be the first time that Manchester United will finish above City in the Premier League since 13 years ago. This will be the first time I believe Manchester United will finish above Manchester City, because Pep Guardiola leaving after 10 years of being the heart and soul of that Manchester City time. The 2020 trophy reign is totally over. Replaced by Enzo Maresca, who knows the club intimately. I understand that from his time as Guardiola's assistant. Elliot Anderson's arrival for the club as a club record fee of 116 million. But the fact that they will be losing Rodri, to Barcelona sooner than later is absolutely insane. Don't get me wrong, they are bringing in, or they might be bringing in Buardi from Lille. But trust me when I say this, losing Pep Guardiola in the same season, you lose your Ballon d'Or midfielder in Rodri. is going to be a tough time for Manchester City. And as we can see, as we have seen against Arsenal in the Community Shield today, they looked a shell of themselves. They looked a shell of themselves. They have more to buy to bring into that team. Omar Marmoush is not the guy. They have sold Tijani Reinders out of Manchester City. Ryan Cherokee is now going to be asked to do more than he has ever done. Phil Foden has not had the best of seasons in the last 18 months. They are going to struggle this year. However, struggle for Manchester City might mean third place for them. And that also leads us to second place as Manchester United. Now, this is a story that started off as last season, from 15th to 3rd place under Michael Carrick, who took interim charge in January. Beat City, beat Arsenal, beat Liverpool, beat Chelsea along the way before earning a permanent deal that takes him up to 2028. Now, I believe the arrival of Andre Santos and the arrival of Yuri Tillemans have changed the midfield. I believe Manchester United are still going to be doing more in this last 2 weeks of the transfer window. But in my opinion, the arrival back of Marcus Rashford will raise the floor up a little bit more because of what he's able to bring to Manchester United, especially from playing with Barcelona. The ability, the nous, the experience, I think, would raise the floor up. Manchester United have one of the arguably best, attacking lineups in the Premier League. And I believe their biggest problem is in the midfield and somewhat in the defense. They are going to be attacking the midfield, which they did. And hopefully we will see that Manchester United's defense can hold up with Matthijs de Ligt coming back from that injury that he got with Argentina. And finally, Martinez coming back from the injury he got from Argentina, and Matthijs de Ligt coming back from that back injury that he got last season. Hopefully they both can stay fit, because when they do, that's arguably one of the best defense duo in the league right now, in my opinion. And of course, finally, it's going to be Arsenal going back-to-back as champions of England in the 26-27 season, because champions with 85 points and a plus 44 goal difference, they went all out in the Champions League and went to the final before losing to PSG on penalties. Arteta kept the spine of this team, of this squad, intact, topped it up with Bruno Guimarães and of course from Newcastle, and then plus the winger Christos Solis. What we saw him do to Manchester City showed that he is a really good player. Now, don't get me wrong, Christos Solis, you would think, has never played in the Premier League, which you will be wrong, because he has played with Norwich. Unfortunately, he got knocked out, or he got relegated with Norwich as a youngster. So he does have an experience playing in the league. But the question right now is, when you look at the Premier League, you see Mikel Arteta being the longest serving manager right now as we speak as a Premier League manager. You understand why almost everyone around him have basically restarted, rebuilding, doing things that is not showing continuity. And when I've been saying, the word about this whole season has to be continuity. Arsenal has the most continuity amongst every top 6 team, amongst every top team in this goddamn Premier League. And I believe that is the reason that makes them the one to beat, the team to beat amongst every single team here in the Premier League. But you guys will let me know in the comments what you guys think about this right now. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the follow button, and do not miss out on all the things that we do here on Pillar Sports by hitting that bell button, so you absolutely can turn on your notifications and not miss out on anything that we do here at Pillar Sports. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.